Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News.
In my 18 years of law enforcement, I haven't seen this.
Pile-up stranded hundreds, creating traffic nightmares that made national headlines. Cars stuck, abandoned, turning a busy highway into an eerie graveyard. A winter blast leaves thousands across Kentuckiana digging out. And thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Janelle McDonald.
And I'm Connie Leonard. JCPS, the University of Louisville, and many other schools closed the rest of this week. We've got team coverage tonight. Wave 3 News reporter Theo Keith is in live drive checking road conditions.
But first, we head over to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harney. Kevin, you promised us we'd see some serious snow totals, some places more than a foot, and you got that right. But what comes next?
Yeah, the record cold comes next, and that's as early as just a few hours away. We'll go into the overnight with temperatures below zero, and that's really going to see some additional problems for us. Let's talk about that, but first the snow part, and that's 11.9 inches of snow on the ground. And you can see in this map, it illustrates where we have over a foot of snow shaded in white across a good swath of our viewing area, frankly, and generally south of the Ohio River. Our forecast yesterday, if you were watching, had it pretty much lined up there. I think we could have even expanded this a little farther, but impressive snow totals across Kentuckiana. And now with the clearing sky taking place across the region, the temperatures are going to drop like a rock. We're at 26 now, 19 Seymour, Jasper, Tell City, Owensboro at 16. We're going to see temperatures in the teens through much of the evening, and we will drop overnight tonight down into the below zero category. 16 by 9 o'clock, 14 by 10 o'clock, 5 degrees by midnight. Our overnight low tonight, it's a record breaker by far. In fact, it shatters all the other records previously set. 10 degrees below zero. That's here in the city tonight. You can see that previous record was one below it back in 1960, and that's the only other time we've been below zero during the month of March in Louisville's history. Some areas with the closer to 2 feet of snow may go 15 to 20 degrees below zero in places, guys. So this is going to cause additional problems because, just with the cold weather alone, you're going to see some pipes that burst. You're going to wind up having water mains that break. You're going to have the refreezing of the snow that has melted today as well.
Could be a mess.
Yeah, I think it will be into the overnight, early tomorrow. All of that. We warm back up, start to focus on flooding problems. I got more on that coming up in just a few.
Okay. We've already seen so many problems too. Stuck on 65, the story for so many people throughout the night and all day today. Trucks trying to make their way up the crowded interstate. It stayed closed for hours, stranding hundreds of drivers just trying to get through. Yeah,
those pictures have been unbelievable. Definitely one of the most talked about traffic issues we've seen with this storm and in a long time period, impacting so many people. And right now, we're getting an update on the conditions there.
Chris Jesse with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet joining us now by phone. He represents those crews trying to clear that scene. And Chris, where does everything stand right now?
Well, here's the latest and a bit of good news to go along with this evening. We've cleared out the queue from Munfordville, basically north to about Bonneville. We kind of broke this apart in two segments, from one exit to the next to the next. So we've cleared out that first segment from 65 to 71. Those are the mile markers. Those folks finally got on their way up 31W Dixie Highway on toward Elizabethtown and Louisville and their whatever destination. Now, we're still working on that next section from Bonneville on up to Upton, that area. We still are trying to remove one or two semis in that area, having some problems getting these fueled up and ready to go. A lot of them were out of fuel, frozen brakes, things like that. So we're working through those issues one by one, but we're still hoping to get these folks out of here very, very soon.
Chris, what was the most difficult thing about trying to clear that scene, would you say, if there was one thing that stuck out?
There was simply no way to get to these folks. They were blocked from the back. They were blocked from the south. They were blocked from the north. This is actually in a construction zone, so it made it difficult with the minimum width shoulders to really get to anybody. And with the exits being so far apart, too, it's just when the snow started yesterday evening, it was just very, very difficult to get to anybody.
Chris, that made it, once the snow started, the temperature dropped. It made it slick, especially for those semis. That was the biggest problem. Now we're faced with these record cold temperatures overnight tonight. The chemicals that are put on the roads, the refreezing that's expected to take place. What other issues are you anticipating with the cold tonight?
Well, as you mentioned there, the guidance, I think has come down with the snowpack today that you talked about. But golly, we're not going to be able to put down any more salt, any more calcium chloride tonight. We will simply plow So, we can still plow, but you've got that ice layer that's it's bonded to the road in most of these cases now, where we had that slush underneath. It's just going to be a very hard surface to break apart from the pavement.
All right. Well, Chris Jessic, thanks so much for giving us a call. We always appreciate hearing from you and certainly keeping us updated.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much as well. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Chris. So coming up at 7:30, you're going to hear more from some of those people who were stuck in that absolute traffic disaster.
Yeah.
Well, the Red Cross shelter in Hardin County welcomed many of those stranded motorists. They had food, water, cots, and blankets. Red Cross workers actually came up to those drivers, offering them rides to the warming centers. Many were from out of town, just trying to get from point A to point B. It brings us all a reminder, always be prepared, no matter where you're going.
Definitely have in your vehicle, in the trunk or whatever, a blanket to stay warm, granola bars or something that will keep, water. That's the one thing we got to request more than anything else when we stopped and said, can we have some water? We're thirsty, because they hadn't had anything to drink since 10 o'clock last night.
Can't imagine what that was like. The shelter will remain open as needed. Red Cross volunteers were told to expect to help out until Saturday.
Governor Steve Beshear called in the National Guard today to help with that situation, declaring a state of emergency. He actually called it redundant, though, because the last state of emergency was still in effect from the last snowstorm. Basically, when you hear that term, it's a signal to local officials that they have access to state help. The governor encourages people to stay off the roads, let the crews get to work on clearing them still. However, the governor's office also points out his declaration of a state of emergency has absolutely no impact on whether schools or businesses decide to close. Back here in the Metro, crews are still working to clear those side streets and the neighborhood streets.
Yeah, Wave 3 News reporter Theo Keith is out in live drive tonight, taking a look at the conditions. And Theo, how's it looking out there right now?
We are on Dixie Highway, and it is much improved over the last 24 hours. 24 hours ago, snow was coming down very heavily, and plow crews were just not able to clear it all the way. Roads were in bad shape. Now, roads are clear of snow, mostly the main snow routes anyway, and some of them are dry. Dixie Highway and many parts are dry. You can see out the front of our live drive here. And what Kevin and the Transportation Cabinet folks were talking about earlier was also important to the Louisville Public Works Department, and trying to get the roads as clear and as dry as possible before the temperatures come crashing down tonight, so that as little ice can form as possible was their whole goal here. Mayor briefed us earlier, said that people have cleared out their sidewalks, people have cleared bus stops near their homes. Much better this time around than last time around. There will be that extreme cold that people need to worry about tonight. And then temperatures will warm up, and the mayor said that that is actually another concern, because there may be some street flooding with how much snow we've got. He encouraged people to clear away the street drains, the on-street drains that are near their homes, to prevent some street flooding. In addition, the city will have about half of its pumping stations open to prevent flooding in and around the Ohio River and any of the smaller tributaries as well. So we're not out of it yet, but the snow problems are at least winding down on the main roads, not so much on the side roads. Back to you.
All right, Theo, thanks so much. And don't forget, for all school and business closings, check our Wave 3 News app or wave3.com. It's easy to find. There's a banner at the top of the page. Plus, you can also hit the weather tab for your latest grab-and-go forecasts.
A lot of people have paid attention to that on social media and all the blogging and everything. It's helped so many people through this.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got some of your snow pics you sent in coming up next, and many of them are going to have you laughing.
Plus, a great story about some strangers who helped make a Louisville family's toughest day just a little bit easier.
And our winter blast coverage continues. This is fresh video just coming into the Wave 3 newsroom. This army of plows trying to tackle the mounds of snow still left on the interstates.
Now, streaming live on mobile, this is Wave 3 News at 7.
We've just gotten word tonight that actor Harrison Ford has been seriously injured in a plane crash. This is a live picture from the scene. The plane actually landed on that golf course in Mar Vista in California. It does appear he was the only one in that plane, but he is said to have serious head injuries from that crash.
Wow.
New tonight at 7 o'clock, paying it forward.
Louisville Snow Samaritans are bringing one family some real relief. Kenny and Tracy Smith and their sons and some other helpers dug out the driveway and steep hill of Iroquois Park neighbor Angie Krebs. Krebs lost her mother Brenda on Friday. She'll be buried next to Krebs' father, a veteran, at the Lebanon National Cemetery tomorrow. But when the family woke up to 12 inches of snow, they feared they could not make it out. Our own Dawn G put their need on her Facebook page, and the Smiths answered, digging them out, overwhelming the family.
The snow covered up everything, and I started thinking about her funeral. I was like, what if we don't get to go? And then Dawn G posted on her Facebook that she was sending people out to help us, and it just made me so happy to have all those people come and help us.
Thank you, fellas. And we'll hear much more from the family and those Snow Samaritans tonight at 11 o'clock.
A Louisville native takes a stand against the Boston bombing suspect, what she says it was like to face the suspected culprit for the very first time.
Plus, we'll show you some more good neighbors giving their helping hand yet again this winter.
Oh, what a winter it's been, at least in March. Temperatures back near 70. Yeah, they're there in the 7-day forecast. That's going to cause a lot of snow melting. It's also going to cause some flooding. We've got the latest river forecast for you. And the latest on this very cold night ahead, record-breaking lows coming up. As we head to break, a look at your Kentucky lottery jackpots. The Mega Millions is at $20 million. The Powerball's at $100 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education.
And another look from the Louisville skyline from our SkyTrack cameras tonight. Many people across Kentuckiana gave us a lesson today in being a good neighbor.
The worst of the storm can often bring out the best in people. Wade 3 News reporter Eric Flack shows us some of their stories.
From the streets to the sidewalks to that jaw-dropping traffic backup on I-65, we saw Good Samaritans stepping up over and over again. When you have nowhere to go, hours to wait, and nothing to eat, a little delivery goes a long way.
I'd walk up and down the street or the highway.
Nathan Webb saw the stunning video of that I-65 backup on Wave 3 News and grabbed what he could out of his own pantry and drove into the traffic jam just to hand out snacks. Not fancy, but hey.
Hey, when you're on the side of the road and you've been sitting there 8 hours and you ain't had nothing to eat or drink, you're not picky.
We've received a few calls in the mayor's office this morning of people needing assistance.
The mayor asked for a citywide approach to digging out from the storm, telling people to hashtag tweets Lou Snow Help if they need or can offer assistance, asking businesses to shovel bus stops and storm drains while Metro workers focused on the roads. The manager of the Please and Thank You coffee shop in New Lou doing his part.
Do you ever think, what difference is it going to make if I clean one sidewalk and one storm drain?
Yeah, but it's like voting. It's like if everybody just does it, I would like to believe it helps.
Across the street, we found Jeff Rollins shoveling the sidewalks for his entire building. Tenant Mo McKnight Howe, so appreciative, she snapped a photo to nominate him for the mayor's Cleanest Sidewalk contest.
Now, what do you do to pay it forward?
Maybe we'll drive around in our 4-wheel drive today and try to get people that are stuck.
After all, no one said helping people can't be fun. And if you aren't on social media, the city set up a 211 snow assistance line where you can call, get help from somebody who has also called into the city and offered their services with their 4-wheel drive vehicle to get you where you need to go. Reporting from downtown Louisville, Eric Flack, Wave 3 News.
Thanks, Eric. But let's not encourage people to do that in the street with their cars.
The donuts aren't probably the best idea.
No. Somebody was doing that last night on Preston with their lights off and almost hit us, so please don't do that. And not a bad idea, though, as far as the shoveling is concerned, to take care of things before this record cold sets in.
Yeah, Kevin Harnon's been telling us about it, and he's joining us now. Kevin, it's going to get so much harder to do any shoveling the longer you wait. It gets so heavy and then packed down.
Yeah, the good news is it's really this blast of cold air is going to be tonight and tomorrow, and then we do start to warm up through the weekend. It's going to take a while to melt all the snow. We had 11.9 inches in this one snow alone, which is our monthly total. And the season so far, we're above last year now at 27.6 inches of snow. It's beautiful to look at. Tough if you got to be out navigating through it. How about this from St. James Court? Dan Dry, Pulitzer Prize winning photographer with Power Creative, sending in these folks trying to trudge through it. There's the University of Louisville covered in snow, salt trucks and plows out. Historic Churchill Downs, all of the parks. Yeah, there are folks out there, even with their pets, bigger pets, the smaller ones, they had a tougher time. Outside in southern Indiana, you had snow too, and on a normal snow, this would be impressive. I mean, 9 inches, that's impressive, right? But we're talking 20-some inches across Kentucky. Radcliffe hit 25, Mount Washington 21, close to 20 in Bardstown, Finchville and Shelby County 16.5, and I pointed out Louisville's total at 11.9 inches of snow. All of us had over 6 inches. There were those areas to the south that, yeah, up to a foot of snow, not out of the question, we pointed out, and there you see that 20+ inches in a few isolated areas in each of these counties. Impressive. Temperatures will be the impressive part tonight. 26 right now. Jasper at 16. Tell City at 18. Noticing the teens showing up to our south. Columbia at 18. Munfordville, Litchfield, Hardinsburg. What's the deal? Well, we're going to see the skies clear tonight, and that's the real key. The skies have to clear for us to hit this forecast low of 10 below. I think that's going to happen. 29 our high today. The sun really helped to warm us up, and even though we didn't get above freezing with all of the treatment being put on the roads, it's helped things out. One thing that it's also done is cause some melting. Now, that melting is going to continue. We have flood warnings across many of the area rivers, including the Ohio. And you can see here at the McAlpin Upper, expected to go about 2 feet above flood stage by Monday. And then on the lower at the McAlpin, you can see that's going about 1.5 feet above flood stage. Same story on Monday. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. What does that mean? How does it impact you? Here's how. When it hits 26, that's when Mockingbird Valley Road floods. That's just around the Melwood area. And then some of the beaches start to flood out at 24.5 and get down to 23, which will get easily. Some sections of River Road between 3rd Street to 8th Street become flooded. So be prepared for that in the coming, well, probably the next coming weeks and maybe even longer. So we're going to have some flooding issues. That's going to be our next big weather topic, I have a feeling. We're up to only 26 for a high tomorrow, upper 30s on Saturday, so some melting over the weekend. But then the good news is we crank up the heat. We bring in some 60s, not even far from 70 by Thursday. Several more days in the 60s as we head into the middle part of March. Our forecast low tonight is a record breaker, 10 below zero. We'll see a mainly clear sky. Tomorrow, you can expect those temperatures to be cold, 26. So we have quite a rebound after we hit 10 below. Getting up to 26 is a pretty good jump, but that's going to be tough to do. We'll look for temperatures to continue increasing through the weekend. As we hit Sunday, we bring in a few more clouds. Could have a brief shower there. We spring forward this weekend, so we're going to lose an hour's sleep as if we've not lost enough of those already.
Speaking of losing stuff,
he's losing his voice.
Can you hear it?
What's going on there?
Temperature 62 by next Wednesday and up to 68 by Thursday.
You've been talking too much.
I'm not feeling well.
For good. All right, you need to get some rest, right? After tonight. Well, new tonight at 7, a Louisville native who took the stand this week in a high-profile Boston bombing trial.
Rebecca Gregory lives in Texas now, but back in 2013, she was waiting at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. She lost a leg after the explosion. Gregory spoke with NBC News about the tragic day and testifying in front of suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev.
At first, I was adamant that I didn't even want to sit near him, so they almost made special arrangements to have me sit further closer to the judge. And then at last minute, I was like, no, I'm going to sit exactly where the witness stand is supposed to be because I do not want to be afraid of him anymore.
Rebecca says she wanted him to look into the eyes of the people he hurt that day, but he would not look at her at all.
Still to come, how will all these snow days impact your students? A calendar update at 7:30.
Plus, meet the pint-sized winner of the mayor's Clean Sidewalk Challenge. And a live look at the roads one more time from Live Drive. This is in Louisville. Well, we asked for your snow pictures, and we got more than we could even go through.
Here's some of our favorites. Let's take a look. Look at this little buddy. Oh, this is from Laura down in Louisville. What a cute snow dog. And check this out. Look at all these deer. That came from Teresa.
We also have from Sonora, Kentucky, Aaron sent this dog who wants to do a little bit of help and measure out that snow. And also from Sonora, look at that. There's a car under there. Thank you, Christy, for that.
That's incredible. And look at this little guy. This is Toby, the dog in E-Town. He's stuck. Help, get me out of here. And check this out. This is cool. This time lapse from 8, 11, 1, and 10. Sharon Knight sent that in from Shepherdsville.
And here we have Holly's Beagle after all the snow fell, and that's the Beagle Pack, the Derby City Dog Rescue Beagles right before the storm.
That's like a Disney movie with all those dogs. Oh, I love this one. Look at this. Mary Hell sent it. She says, no, that's not me. That's my friend. Okay.
Enjoying the snow
Looking
day
good. And I'll check out, this is Isabella. What a cute little Elsa. She says that she made all this snow. What? Oh my gosh, wait till Emerson finds out that
I know, her powers are magical.
Yeah, Frozen is in town. I cannot even believe that. And remember, you can still send all your snow pictures to pics@wave3.com or post on our Facebook page or Twitter using the hashtag Wave3Snow.
Well, when we're hit with this much snow, it's something that everyone in the community has to do something about.
That's why Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher put together the Cleanest Sidewalk Contest. It was a call for homes and business owners to get out there and clear the snow from their sidewalks. At today's press conference, Fisher announced the unlikely winner was 5th grader Ben Hofstetter, who cleared the snow for his parents and 7 neighbors.
I was just shoveling with my dad, and then I just started shoveling other people's sidewalks, and I just kept going. I just shoveled till I dropped. It means a lot to me. I never really thought I'd be on TV, but I guess it happened.
Sure did. Ben was awarded the key to the city. What? And we'll get to watch a Bats game from a private suite in the springtime. Very nice. I love it.
He's just taking it all in, isn't he? I guess it happened.
Cute kid.
Stick around for Wave 3 News at 7:30 with Dawn G. You can hear from those stranded drivers from I-65, the horrific traffic nightmare that's gone viral.
Plus, we'll break down just how far back this winter blast has put students at JCPS.